In today's episode of Have a Plan Before You Land, Gerry Scott asks U.S. tax consultant Sid Rao to discuss issues surrounding Canadian residents investing through a U.S. limited liability company, or LLC.
Investing in the U.S. through an LLC, I was told everyone in the U.S. uses an LLC. What can you add to that?
Sure. So great question. I think it's one of the most common questions that practitioners get on the cross-border side. And that's for use of LLCs. So just a way of background, LLCs are limited liability companies. They're formed under state law in the US. So I think every state has some form of LLC. And one of the great things about them is that they offer limited liability to all of the owners, regardless of your participation level. And they get to pick their tax treatment with the IRS. So those are the two reasons why LLCs are the most common type of business entity in the U.S. that's formed today. Now, the problem is for Canadian residents who are directly invested in the LLC is that they can lead to some pretty nasty results on the Canadian side. And that's primarily because Canada views LLCs as corporations by default, which is different from how the way that the U.S. views the LLC. So because of that disparity between how the two jurisdictions look at LLCs, it can give rise to double tax because of how income is, the timing of how income is taxed in both jurisdictions. So you're looking at potentially, tax rates of above 60% on profits earned through an LLC by a Canadian resident. So we generally advise avoiding LLCs and cross-border investments.
To learn more about today's guest, send us an email.